Our guest today is Gloria Sims. She's known as Mama G, and she's a Maroon. She lives in Jamaica, and it's a fascinating story she does have to tell, because she uh, struggles and fights for women. Welcome to our program, Mama G.
Give thanks for having me. Yes, it's a
Yeah,
pleasure.
right. So tell us about yourself. You know, um, you're a Maroon, and you have a sense of the history of the Maroons. Tell us a little bit about for people who don't know.
Okay. I'm Garma Mama G. My title is Garman. I got that title from the Surinamese Maroon, who
Oh,
installed me here in Jamaica as the first female gaman they ever have.
yes, yes,
So in Suriname, the ice governance of the Maroon is the gaman, which is like a paramount chief,
right,
and all the chiefs in the village we would work with the gaman, and the gaman would give advice and counsel. The gaman is like the voice, the one voice of the people. Yeah.
right.
So I've been given that title, which they break their tradition and gave it to me. They never given it to a woman before.
Right.
Yes, so I'm here in Jamaica. I do go to Suriname. Today is the Surinamese Maroon Day, which is a national holiday there.
Yeah,
Normally, I would be there with them. I've been going for about 5, 6 years,
right.
you know, but I'm not there this year. Yeah.
Yes.
But I am a Mama G. I work with the culture. I deal mainly with the indigenous intellectual property,
Yeah,
which is indigenous knowledge that our ancestors saved
yes,
here,
yes.
which is African knowledge, and also I am also a part of the Taino community, which is the native that was here in the land in our era. Some places have Amerindians. Here in
Right,
Jamaica, we have what is known as Taino. But
right,
when we were younger, we used to call them the Arawak.
right.
But now we here they are known as Taino,
I know.
and they were here long before. Even though African was always in the vicinity, but the Taino was here for many years. And so when we as Maroon run away to the mountain, we forge bonds with them.
Right.
We become friendly. We are all indigenous people. We observe the same thing in the land, so we become friendly with them
Yes,
when we came here in these strange land as Africans. And
yes.
so we form villages together with the Taino. So
Okay.
my great grandmother, my grandmother by my mother's side
Yes.
is was Jane Mendez. So those names, it look like Spanish name, is
Yes.
look upon in Jamaica as being Taino.
Yes.
So I myself have Taino blood. I am with the Taino tribe also. I'm a part of their community. I
Yes.
am Tekina. Tekina means teacher.
Yes.
Nuna. And the word Nuna is keeper and teacher of wisdom.
Right. Well,
So I work in empowering women,
yeah.
giving them that strength. And most of what I learn it even from life experience. I grew up in a domestic violent home because my father used to work in the rum factory in Amden. And so, he started drink. And so
Right.
I experienced domestic violence as a child. So in my works, I realized I got the experience so that I can now know how to help women and to uplift them. So seeing my mother in this uncomfortable situation for
Right.
quite a while, I learned about it, and like my spirit decided that that was one of my life mission to address that situation in
Yes.
a meaningful way. So
Right.
with
Right.
all of what I learn and what we save as Maroons, I use most of it, in empowering women,
Right. So
girls.
so you hold classes with girls and young women, talking to them about life and so on?
Well, it so happened, I'm just coming back from Cornell University where I went to last week, week before last, on my birthday. I did a presentation, which was the 18th of September
Yes.
at, at Cornell University in
Right.
Ithaca,
Right.
talking to the student, and it was the first time that they have us like that, sharing our Maronage history and how it helped us to survive through situation that is looked upon as being difficult.
Yes.
And so, the student, many of them is going through difficult times.
Yeah.
Many of them, they are students from all over Africa, and some of them have war in their their hometown where they are from, and
Right.
so their families there, and they are doing their academic and it bring a lot of stress to them.
Yes.
So our present there help to unwind them, help to strengthen them, help to uplift their spirit,
Yes.
because we carry that language and that history and that knowledge of survival
Yes.
through harsh and hard situations.
Right,
You
right,
know?
right. Yeah, it is very ironic because now that the it's the violence against women has taken a very high limelight, and
Yes, I see that. Yes,
yeah,
even in our country, the same thing.
right.
And I one of my dreams, vision, and something that I'm working at. I actually started the physical space building, which
Yeah,
I stopped right now because of funding.
yeah.
But I actually started to build a space for a woman museum
Ah,
because with the world going visual,
yes,
and the contribution that some great Jamaican women has made,
yes, yes.
and it is not being highlighted enough. So
Right.
sometimes our generation doesn't realize how important women really are to
Yes,
us, and
yes,
that we are the nation builder. And
yes.
because the young people is going visual because of the internet and these things, I
Right,
said the
right,
best way to reach them and to teach them is to establish a museum
right.
where they can come in and see pictures and artifacts and get lessons and women and their roles and their responsibility, and women as nation builder and contributor in every aspect of our life,
Right. Yes, yes,
and give them that sense of feelings,
yes. Of worth.
of
Exactly.
who we are. Because what is happening is that we lost the whole sense of what the woman is to a nation and to a people. So we need to restore that.
Yes,
So
yes.
I'm building a traditional university that will deal with ceremonies and actually doing ceremonies, and because we do ceremonies for every season of the year, every new moon,
Yes,
every solstice, and daily, every morning and every evening. So
yes.
we want to bring that to the public, and people to catch on to do these things, to honor the things around them.
Right.
Ceremonies to the different natural resources like the river and the sea
Yes.
and the different places. And so
Yeah.
that is what mainly the curriculum around that traditional university
Right.
and the Woman Museum, which will highlight
Right.
Jamaican women, other black women who
Yes.
we
Yes.
get strength from, like Harriet Tubman.
Right.
There's always gonna be a corner in it for her and
Yeah.
other great black women,
Yeah. Even
out
Nanny,
there.
even
And
Nanny and
yes,
Nanny in Jamaica.
yes, she has not been highlighted in that way,
Yeah.
where students can visit these places, tours from the different school, and to see and to learn more about our women and, within
Yeah.
family life and community life and nation building, and things
Right.
like that.
Yes, yes, yeah. It is so important, yeah. Are you getting support from the government of Jamaica or
Not
CARICOM?
really, not really, and so sometimes I try, I started going to the United Nations um 2018, and by 2019, after a contingent, a group of us has been there,
Yeah,
um, from the diaspora, different place, from Trinidad,
right,
from Jamaica and Suriname,
right.
and other friends of the Maroon. We went there in 2018, which we at the time we attended Indigenous People Forum,
Right,
and there was like not a setting there for us as African people who has been through transatlantic slave
right.
holocaust. So we were actually in the decade of the people of African descent, which
Yes,
started in 2014.
right.
So they start to put together the forum for people of African descent. And so 3 years now I attended in New York. One kept in Geneva. I didn't go to that first one in Geneva. I've been
Right.
to Geneva last year,
Yeah,
at the People of African Forum, Permanent Forum of People of African Descent. And I'm looking forward to go to New York this year to attend it again.
yeah,
And so I try to reach out internationally for funding, which right now we
I
don't
have
have
done.
fund. We don't really have funding to go further with the building
Right.
at this time, but sometimes I don't have that time to take on the government to reach to the stage where they will support these
Yeah,
things.
yeah, yeah.
Many people know of my vision. I also was privileged to visit the Arab Woman Museum in Dubai
Yes, yes.
about 2 years ago. And it's really because I had the vision at the time, so that really grounds me and open up my eyes. It is one Arab woman, a professor, who brought this building and established a woman museum in it. And it is so interesting
Yeah,
to see how hardworking and these women who sometimes we see behind these veils are,
yes,
and
yes,
to learn of them in their own space was very good. And I want to do the same thing for the African culture that we retain here in Jamaica
yeah,
as African people, that when people visit, they could come to this space where we would keep it up to date with the history of women, African women in the region,
yes, yes,
and what we have been doing and what we are still doing, you know,
yes.
with our culture as original queen mothers who
Right.
we really are,
Yeah,
because African don't have one queen. We have queen in the eras, different relevant eras where they would work in.
right,
You would
right.
have the queen of the fish market who deal with fishing and all these things because she has the experience, so she queen that era. You
Yes,
would have the queen of the
yes,
marketplace,
yes,
and she deal with all the products and all the other queen mothers in the market to see to it that everything runs well. You
yes,
have queen that would deal with education and youths because each one of us has a duty to do.
yes, 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 yes.
And we do it very royal when we do it with dignity and with royal because we are a sovereign,
People.
dignified, royal people.
Yes, yes, yeah.
Yes.
You know,
So we
I
carry on in that manner.
yeah, I just interviewed some Africans from Trinidad who were
Mm-hmm.
freed by the British up the coast of the Bahamas and Virgin
Okay.
Islands.
The
And they say,
American.
right, right, you know them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes. That's how I get my honors in Suriname because when I went to Suriname, I started the Maroon Indigenous Women's Circle here,
yes,
and the ambassador of Suriname to Ghana now,
yeah,
Ambassador Fidelia Grangalan. she started the Maroon Woman Network. So they invited me there.
Right, right,
And when I went there for their conference, which they call Grand Kutu,
right.
and I was there, I asked her of her what is it that this conference is about, what I would see,
Yeah,
because I was there like some days before the conference.
right.
And she said, she was just telling me some things like I would meet the women. So I said, no, I had made up a memorandum of understanding between me and the colonels here when I started the Maroon Women's Circle, because there was never yet a Maroon Women's group separate yet before. So
Right.
I didn't want the colonel to feel like I was trying to overthrow them in their community.
Yeah, yeah.
So I make up a memorandum, a very official one was done by a sister that we started the group together. And she used to be a legal secretary, so she knows how to write those documents
Yeah,
legally. So
yeah.
I had a proper one, and the spirit tell me to take a copy of it with me.
Right,
So when
right.
she tell me that there was nothing tangible enough, I was just with see the woman and their works. And so I said, that is not enough, because if I should pass away before I reach home, I need the women in Jamaica to continue working with the women in Suriname. It's not about
Exactly.
me.
Right,
And
right.
so I get up off the bed because we slept on the same bed, and I go in my suitcase and I pull out this document that the spirit tell me to take with me. I
Yeah.
said, read this, and she read. And it was like 2 o'clock in the morning and before daylight, and she sat up on her bottom, and we sat on her bottom and we go. And she was very inspired by the document. And
Right,
I said,
right.
I need something like that. Let us put together something. And
Yeah.
we come up with a memorandum of cooperation.
Right,
And so we put together, using that memorandum of understanding as a framework, we put together a memorandum of cooperation.
right,
And it was signed on the day of the conference by this brother that was there at the conference at the time. His name was Calvin Calendar.
Calvin calendar.
Curvin Calendar.
Right,
And he's American, and he signed for Merkin.
right,
And I signed for Jamaica. And
right,
Fidelia, Her Excellency Fidelia Grangaland, who was ambassador at the time to Trinidad, she's
right,
now ambassador of Suriname to Ghana.
right.
She signed also. So we have a document
Yes,
to
yes.
work together in the region that was signed with the same Merkin group you're talking about,
Right, right.
myself representing Jamaican Maroons, and Her Excellency Fidelia Grangalan
Right,
representing
right, right.
Suriname.
Man, this is so fascinating. You know, but
Yeah, man.
listening to you, I am embodying my spirit back in time.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
like, I get in that feel of my people on a
yeah,
journey, and where we are
yeah,
today, and to see that we're still alive and we're struggling
yeah,
and fighting for our
yeah,
worth and
man.
value, you know. So
Yeah, man.
I compliment you on what you have done and continue to
Yeah.
do.
Right. So
And
so my journey to Cornell was to bring the indigenous knowledge into higher learning, because
right,
even though
right.
I say indigenous knowledge is the base of all knowledge, it is not
Yes.
included in these higher learning institutes,
It,
you know.
yeah, it
So
is.
Cornell is a university that many Africans go to, as well as Indians and people
Yes.
from all over,
All
because it was
over. Right.
established for people from every race.
Yes, yes.
So what we did is under a program named Global Blackness Initiative that started in the same time when the Black Lives Matter situation
Right,
arose.
right,
And
right,
it is to connect the diaspora with with Africa
right, right, right.
through education, and
Uh,
you know,
yes,
we could go
programming.
further with trading and training and all these community things as well. So I'll be moving back, me into Africa along with the school and the student when they move sometimes,
Yes, yes.
So
Yeah.
it is a good program in this time to take us into 2025, because that is what our ancestors were fighting, to go back to their native land.
Right, right.
So now we have to build bridges to bridge these generational gaps between us and Africa, and to make ourselves, because we were taken out of Africa not because only because they needed a workforce, which that was what we were used for. It was
Yes,
like using one stone to kill two birds. But
right,
also taken out of the land so that other people would take up the land as well, take over the land.
right, right.
So we see that happening, and every nation has a continent. And no matter where the black man come from, his continent is Africa. So
Yes, yes,
we look forward to Africa, and in this time they said the pen is mightier than the sword. So that is where we are, the black and white, the book and the paper, the pen, to rewrite our history, and to don't not just rewrite it, but to walk back in the footsteps of our ancestors,
yes,
and to build bridges to go back
yes,
to
yes,
help Africa. You know, anything we learn in the West, even from what we've been through,
yes,
some of us has learned many skills, and some of the big ones behind, even the heads of government in these eras we find ourselves, it is our own people that is behind their writing and secretary and doing all these
right, right.
powerful work. So let's bring back these powerful skills to help Africa.
All right.
Africa can rise in a day if we turn all our skill and our this and our help and our support as African people, that we even learn while being around the ones them that has caused us to go through so much hills. But we learn a lot that we can bring back to Africa, and Africa can rise and outshine every continent within a day if we do that.
Right, right. Well, Mama G, it was a pleasure talking to you. Uh, Anything you'd like to leave us with?
Yes, in this time, there's so much happening. You know, I am saying there's so much war and rumors of war and so much disunity.
Yes,
Let us come together as a people, as a species in earth that has been given dominion in earth, to bind that what is to bind and to loose that what is to loose. Let us today see ourselves with that authority within this earth space that we are, as stewardess of the earth, knowing that the earth do not belong to us, but we who belong to the earth. Let us take up our mantle as caretaker, as stewardess, and do what we're supposed to do in this time, so that we can leave a world for a generation that will say, well done, and call us blessed, you know?
yes, yes, yes.
Let
Blessings
us
to
do
you,
our
Mama
work.
G.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you take care and thank you so much. And this won't be the last time I'll be calling on you again. All right?
Yes, I don't mind. I love the interview. It was very good.
All
And
right.
give thanks for all the time you spend um, doing this work. You have been doing it over a period of time now, and we need these era. All of us have a duty to do, and give thanks for you.
Thank you. Thanks. Thanks.
Yeah, man, give thanks.
All right. I've been
Yeah,
speaking
man.
with Gloria Sims, and she is known as Mama G, an indigenous
Yeah,
woman, a maroon from Jamaica. This is Von
yeah,
Martin. Caribbeana continues.
give thanks. Blessing.